Hello everybody and welcome to my next tutorial, and today we are trying to make some kind of a Japanese I don't want to say fortress because I already made a Japanese fortress tutorial, some kind of Japanese architecture fortress kind of style. So I went to Google and I searched for some reference and I found this one here. Very good. I also found the other photos and some other Japanese reference that can help us. I use Pure Reference. It's a free application that you can put these pictures right in it, so you can use it and it's in front of your Blender screen. And I also use the new Blender, I think 2.9, and it's a little bit different like 2.8, but it has, I think, just clove extra that I really used. Everything else is the same, but let's get started. Just put this one here back. So I already start with a new collection and I will name it main. I will drag this cube here because we don't delete the cubes, and I also add on the mesh plane a new plane. Just make this a little bit tinier. So I really like to model with planes. So I have here my plane, and you can also see the keys that I use on the right corner. I will make it a little bit bigger with S, and when I drag something up, you can press the control button and it will drag a little bit, how to say, in steps, like some magnets. So maybe here, and I will try to make some kind of roof. So I will start with go tablet modus and go to edit mode. I use a German keyboard, so maybe it will have other kinds of test keyboards key inputs, but I think it will be okay. And I will extrude it and just with S make it a little bit tinier, something like this here. So maybe something like this. Then I will just extrude it a little bit out, and I will press Ctrl R to make this kind of line here so we can put it back. You can just press the left key button. I just press the left mouse click and it will stay in the middle. You can also change it by, but I want to have it in the middle. Now I will select this kind of edge select and just select the upper top and put him once up, something like this. Then, because you can see this one is not straight, not a straight line, I will take both with the, just need to check face select and press S and Y, so it will be straight. S and Y, the same. After that, I will select both, and I will change the settings here, the pivot point to individual origins. So when I press now extrude, S to make it a little bit smaller, just try to make a little bit in the middle, and press again E, you can see extrude individual. So I just make a little bit in, that's on the same, yeah, like the same length like this. Now we just save it. The next thing, so you can see it better, I activate cavity, so it's just a little bit more crisp. Okay, next thing, maybe we can just put the roof a little bit more down and also extrude it down so it has like this kind of border here. Perfect. Yes. This line here is not straight, but I think I like this one a little bit more. When you press 1, it will show you the front orthographic. So, but I like it this a little bit more. The next step, I create a new cube, drag it up. With S, I can change the scale. Oops. So, and then press 3 on the numpad, so you have the right orthographic style. Edit mode with tab, and then use this scale mode here, so you can just scale it the size that you want. Maybe just make a little bit tinier, just a bit of scale more. So when I want have this kind of arc, you can just press Ctrl R. Again, you can say yes with the left button because I want to have it in the middle, and you can move this one down, something like this. And now when you press Ctrl B for bevel, you can just drag this out, and with the mouse wheel you can make more bevels. So you have some kind of arc movement, but you can also just make them a little bit down. So then also I want to have this kind of, how to say, maybe there are some holder. So I will put again Ctrl R2 on this side here, select these two and drag them down. But I will not drag them like this. You can also just press the Z when you drag, and it will drag like a line. And I will select these two little borders here and press again Ctrl B. Now it's your preference. You can just with the mouse wheel add more bevels, but I want to have like a little bit of line. You can just make it round, but I make something like this. I think it's in the photo it's not like round. Yes, okay. Perfect. The next step is this one here. So I will just resize it a little bit more. Put it a little bit down. And then I will select the faces. Just put it a little bit up. So it's a little bit more. So it's in this size like this. So now I will do the second roof. I also start with the plane. The second is a little bit easier because you just need to make it a little bit bigger with S. Size it up and then extrude it the same size like the building, maybe a little bit bigger, and put it down, but I need to make a little bit little because it's too big. So the next step is this kind of little roofs here. So it's the same like this, but we just make a cube, drag it up here, resize it a little bit, make the position here so it will be on this right position. Just extrude it a little bit that we don't see it anymore. Something like this. Then I will just make a little bit lesser. And I can just drag this one a little bit up. So perfect. Something like this. And then also you can just drag this kind a little bit here. I just watched these two lines here. It doesn't need to be perfect for me. Sorry, when you press 7 you have the top orthographic view, but I make it a little bit smaller because we have like this kind of decoration that we put it there. So it's a little bit more on the top, so I will just select the whole face and drag it a little bit up. Save it. So the next step is the same like here. I select this one, press E, S to scale it inwards, and again E. Perfect. The next thing, we can just use the preference that we already create an object. I press 3 on a numpad. With Shift D, you can duplicate something. I just position it here. That is on the same position, but we don't need this kind of side here. So I will just press Tab, Edit Mode, change with Z to wireframe mode. Select face select, and now with B you can select like the whole. I think we can select it this time here, so it will select the front and the back sides, because when you just put it on solid, first you don't see it, but it will not select the back verticals. Press X and just delete faces, and then back to solid. But what we can also do is when we drag it a little bit out, you can see now here is nothing, but you can select with double click all the faces and press F to fill it. And then we can just put it back here until you don't see it anymore. Make it a little bit down. Okay, yeah. Perfect. And I just need on the other sides. So I change to 7 to the top orthographic view, and first I change the transform pivot point to bounding point center. Select both. You can, when you have press Shift, you can select the first object or the second object, and press Alt D, not Shift D, because when you press Shift D, I can show you, it will duplicate the object, but this object is an individual, so you can change it how you want it. But if you want to maybe add texture or something like that later for the same, or you want to change this one here to to all the individual, you can press Alt D, and you can see it's the same. You can also make a position, but when you press Tab, you will see you have both selected. But you can just select one of either, but this one is like the main, like the parent object. So when you change something here, you can change on both. So it's a little bit easier to change it later. So I will now select with Alt D one side. I will put it here. Take the rotation, just rotate it a little bit, that we have the rotation here, and I will add minus 180 degrees. Position it again here, and then select both. Press Alt D. Now I can let them here and just rotate them and say they need to be 90 degrees. So now we have all the 4. So the next step is I just block again this little house here. So just make it a little bit bigger, resize it a little bit. Something like this. I don't think that's so big like this. Maybe something like this. I think this one is a little bit too big, or a little bit too high, maybe. No, it don't seem right. I'll just make it again a little bit up. Okay. The next thing, what you can do is just the same, duplicate it again with Shift D, because maybe I just want to add something special on itself, but you can already, when you want, duplicate it with Alt D. So when you change something here, you can change it here also. And I will just making a little bit bigger. Okay, perfect. And now we can make the same. I just will make a normal Shift D duplication from this one here. And you can see this one is not on the line like this one, so you can just put it a little bit back, or a little bit in the front that you cannot see it. So now it's a little bit, how to say, now it's not on this side here. So you can just press 3, select both, add tab, and again, the edge selection. Now we can add this to here. No, we just select this one here, because we select the face on the side, and now I'll just select these faces here and just drag it a little bit inwards. You can see now here something false. Just go back with Control Z. You can go back. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. I need to go to wireframe mode, so it's easier. So it select both. So now when you just put it up, down, inward, sorry. Now it's right. So because this one is now the, how to say, the under the second kind of roof, I just will make the same with Alt D. So when I change something on the second roof, it will also change the second roof, the other 4 tiles. So I just will drag them out, rotate. You can also just click R to rotate, make minus 180 degrees, put it a little bit out. Okay, select both again, and again Alt D and R for rotation, and we just make minus 90 degrees, and now they need to be both on the same position. This one was a little bit up, so perfect. Now I just will duplicate this one here also, put it a little bit down, resize it a little bit. This one is not so big, so I just will make it a little bit smaller, something like this. And just to make this kind of rock formation, the fundamental from this kind of architecture, I just will duplicate it again with Shift D, drag it down, select the other face down, put it down, and then press S to scale it. So now you have this kind of basic right building here, but I just need to change the roof orientation to 90 degrees, but this roof is a little bit different from the orientation than the other one, so it's okay. Perfect. Now we have like kind of this main building here, right? I just will make a new collection. I just want to, maybe I just say ground, because I just, oops, false, no, ground, and I'll just add a new cube, resize it, yeah, I think here, and I will just select the face, and then this face here. Yeah, I think maybe a little bit less. Here also a little bit less. And here also. Okay. The next step is to make this kind of wall, and I will make like the wall in one form or one object. I'm gonna show you how. The first thing I will now make is create again a new collection. I just say wall, add a cube, press 1, so you can scale it, press 3, and then just with 7 you can take the right direction. Now the size, it's a little bit bigger, but I think this one need to go a little bit down. I can see it, the stone here, maybe something like this. Put him again here. Okay, so just make it a little bit smaller. So the next thing that I make is I just extrude it. I will extrude also the sides, and you can also make the same, that the sides are on the same position. Select both sides, go to individual origin, press E, and then just with the mouse you can just put it outside like this. Okay. The next thing is we press Ctrl R again to make a kind of line here, to cut it. And then you can just drag this out. And also make 2 cuts here and 2 cuts on this side here. Perfect, press 1. And you can just drag one side a little bit inwards, and the same with the other side. You don't need to be perfect for me. When you want, you can just also press on top layer, press Ctrl B, and you can just make a little bit round, maybe something like this. Okay, and the next thing is we can just delete these faces here because we don't need them. So X and dissolve faces, so it will just make one face. Also these faces here too. When you press the button up, the tab slash button in English, I don't know how even it names in German, so you can select these also, press X and dissolve the faces, so you don't have too many faces when you just want to import it to the game, so it doesn't need too much verticals. And the next step is I just extrude it. I just select all, first I select all the faces here, press 7, and now I just will extrude it, or just not extrude it, I just will move it this side until it reaches the fortress. Okay. The next step is select this side here, make it a little bit more in. Okay. Perfect. Now you can see you have some kind of, when I just make cavity away, you have these kind of lines in it. Maybe you want it, but I'll show you how you can get rid of it. Just make cavity again. You can press here on object and shade smooth. But you will see now it will smooth everything on shade, so it doesn't look pretty. But you can go here when you select your object to object data properties. On normals you can put this auto smooth on, and you will see it sees really better, and it doesn't have any of these lines here. Now it's 30 degrees, but you can also create more. So when you just go up, you will see now it's this side also a little bit smoother. But when you go up until it reaches the point, now it's the same like before. So I think maybe 70 degrees, so it doesn't have either this line here. Now it seems really better, much smoother. The next step is we need to make some kind of round like this one here. You can also just you can just extrude it like a little bit inwards and try it, but what I really like is to first take the object. If you see that this the gizmo of the object is not right, you can set the origin to geometry and it will find the point. But I will take now the cursor, put it here. Yeah, maybe a little bit here. Perfect. Now we have this side selected. Go here to spin. Yes, to spin. And when you see this kind of pluses, you can drag now one out and you can see it makes a really beautiful round side. But you can see it, for me it's too much vertical, so I just go back. Now you have here on the left side the steps, because it's really not so smooth. I will say I need 2 steps. And when you drag it out, you can press the control button. Oh, sorry, not, no, that's strange. Oh, I just pressed the false button. Oh, no, sorry. Now press the control button until it's 90 degrees. You can see here the angle. So it seems now a little bit more like this kind of here, but this one is also a little bit different. So, perfect. Now we can just select this side again. Press 7. We can go back to move again and just extrude it until we are on this point here. We also don't need to extrude it a little bit more. I just extrude it until here because we just put this kind of building then there left. So, but what you can do is we can duplicate this one here, and I will just duplicate it, not yet, because we just need to make this kind of to say windows in it, but I just want to duplicate it to check if the origin to geometry, if it's the same height, the same size. So I just need to rotate it 180 degrees, and then I can just make it something like this, this. Well, I just extrude a little bit again now, so I just extrude it now. I'll just make a copy. So, and I think the door is here, so yeah, I think this one is okay. So I just will extrude it here also. Just a wall. Maybe we just don't need to extrude everything, so I just make the wire mode on, select with the face select everything, but it's not so intelligent because it has this also, so I will just go to solidify again and copy just this one here. I will just copy this one here. It's a little bit easier, so it's in the same line. Copy it, Control D, drag it a little bit out, and just extrude it. So we have the same kind of. You can, when you want, make the whole close, but when here is a building, you don't see it, so I don't think it's really necessary to make everything. Perfect. The second step is making these windows here. And I will just create these windows with booleans, I don't know how to spell it. So I just go to wall again, create a cube, because I think they are, yeah, they are, maybe just make this one bigger than the wall so you can see through when it cut it through, but there are a little bit not so big windows, something like this. Okay, so we have one here, maybe a little bit more up, one here, and now I just go to tab mode, press Shift D. When you press Shift D to duplicate when you are in tab mode, and use Control that you can be on the same line. When you just press it when you are here, you can see that now both are selected. So you don't need to mix them together, because we need to have everything on one layer for this wall here. The next is making some kind of, how to say, pyramid. I don't know. How I make this pyramid shape, it's really funny. I just create a mesh, a circle, and then you have here on the verticals a circle. Press 3, and now you have this form. Very easy. Press 3, just rotate it again 90 degree, size it a little bit, change here the front orthographic view. You can press G so you can move the geometry, but I don't see it, so I will just put it here and try to find the same size like this. Maybe I think this one is perfect. And then I will just go to tab to the edit mode, press F and extrude it. And put it here in the middle. So the next thing we can do is I just press with Shift D this object and the other one, and Control J to make everything in one. So next thing we can do is again Shift D. I just rotate it 90 degree, and I think, yeah, I just need to make it a little bit smaller here. So what we can do now is go to tab mode, press Z, select this one and just drag them both a little bit near, and the same with this one here. Again to Y mode so you can select all the verticals. Okay. Now we can make this kind of wall here. I think this wall is the same size like the other one, so I can just take this here also. Put it here. Scale it, not scale it, just make the right position. And on the left side, you can see here's just one. So how I can just take one. So to see the other side, you can just press 1, but you can see 1 is this side, the right side. Yeah, but when you press 9, you go to the other side. So now it's the back side. Press tab and wire mode again, B, so you can select everything, and then press 7, Shift D. And when you change the location or transform the position from this one, when you are on the top view, you don't change the how to say, the Y position. So you can just rotate it, make 90 degrees, put it here, but you can see here it's on the same height. Maybe here. Yes, okay. Perfect. So we'll start with this wall. First, I need to Control J everything together. Now I select the first wall, go here to my modifier properties, add a Boolean modifier, and it just need to be on difference, but honestly it is already everything right to cut things out. And you can see now here we have objects. Take this kind of little searcher here and press this object here. So the next thing we can do on Unity 2.9, you have on the 2.8 a button that says just apply. Here on 2.9, click it here and then apply.